She told me she needed space. So I gave her some. Then one night, her best friend called me drunk and said, "I can't believe she's doing this to you with him." The him? My older brother. When I showed up at his place, she opened the door in my sweatshirt. "You weren't supposed to find out like this," she said. But it was too late. Because I'd already. I'm Ray. I'm 33. I live in Boise, Idaho, and I work as a full-time mechanic at a family-owned shop. Nothing fancy. Just regular people with grease under our nails and honest work. My life was simple. I thought it was steady. I thought I had things figured out. For over 3 years, I was with Mandy. She worked part-time at a vet clinic and sometimes bartended on weekends. When we first got together, it felt easy. She laughed at my dumb jokes, cooked with me, and didn't complain about the oil stains on my jeans. We moved in together after a year. She brought her plants, her cat, and her endless supply of scented candles. I cleared out my closet and gave her a drawer in the bathroom. I was serious about her. We weren't perfect. We argued about dumb things. She liked to stay out late. I liked to be home by 10. She wanted weekend trips. I needed weekends to work overtime. But I loved her. I really did. Then, out of nowhere, she told me she needed space. It was a Wednesday night. She sat me down in the living room and said she felt crowded, that she couldn't think, that we were too wrapped up in each other, that she needed time to be alone, to sort herself out. I asked her if this meant she wanted to break up. "No," she said. "I just need to breathe." She promised she wasn't seeing anyone else. She just wanted time apart. Said she'd stay at Tara's, her best friend's place, for a while. Maybe a few weeks. "I'll come back when I feel more like myself," she said. So I let her go. I helped her pack. Watched her walk out the door with her suitcase and her cat in the carrier. At first, I thought this was something normal. People go through rough patches. We'd find our way back. Weeks passed. She texted now and then. "Just thinking about you. Hope work's going okay." I'd reply with simple stuff. "Miss you too. Things are fine." But something felt off. She stopped calling. Her messages got shorter. And anytime I asked when she was coming back, she'd say, "I'm not sure yet." One night, I saw she posted a story on Instagram. A wine glass. A man's hand holding it. But it wasn't mine. I looked at the background, couch, countertop. It wasn't Tara's place either. I'd been there. It looked nicer. More expensive. Still, I didn't want to accuse her of anything without proof. That proof came in the worst way possible. It was a Saturday night. I was home watching old reruns when my phone rang. It was Tara. She sounded drunk and panicked. "Ray, I'm sorry," she said right away. "Tara? What's going on?" She sniffled. Music played in the background. She was clearly at a bar or a party. I didn't know who else to call. I saw her. Last night. At the bar. With someone. Who? She was kissing someone. Tara. Who was it? A long pause. "Your brother. Scott." I froze. "You sure?" "I'd never lie to you, Ray. I swear." I didn't even know until I saw his face. "It's been going on." She told me she was crashing at my place, but she's been staying with him. I didn't know. I wouldn't have let her. I didn't say goodbye. I didn't even hang up properly. I just grabbed my keys and drove. Scott lived in one of those brand new condos near downtown. His job in tech made sure he could afford a fancy spot with polished floors and stainless steel everything. We weren't super close, but we talked. We grabbed drinks now and then. He'd come over for Thanksgiving. He laughed at my jokes. Told me Mandy was a keeper. I knew the code to his building. He'd never changed it. I took the stairs because I couldn't wait for the elevator. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. I knocked. Loud. After a second, the door opened. It was Mandy. Her hair was a mess. She wasn't wearing makeup. And she had on my old gray sweatshirt. The one she used to wear around the house when it got cold. Her eyes widened. "You weren't supposed to find out like this," she said. I stepped inside without asking. Scott came out of the hallway. shirtless, holding a beer.
He froze when he saw me.
Ray, I didn't give him a chance. I walked up and hit him. One clean punch to the jaw. He fell back, caught himself against the wall. Are you kidding me? I said. My own brother? He didn't say anything. He just stared at the floor. Mandy started crying, saying she didn't mean to hurt me, that she was confused, that things had just happened. How long has this been going on? I asked. They didn't answer.
How
long? Scott wiped his mouth. Since Christmas. For months. For months of lies. Of Mandy pretending to need space. Of Scott pretending to be family. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I just nodded. Then I turned and left. I drove. I don't even remember where. Just far. Somewhere quiet. I parked and sat in the dark. My fists hurt, but not as much as my chest. It wasn't just the cheating. It was who did it. My girlfriend. And my brother. The two people I never thought would do this. But they did. And they thought I'd move on. They didn't know me. They didn't know I don't get even fast. I don't get loud. I get quiet. I plan. And when I'm ready, I make sure people learn exactly what they threw away. After that night, I didn't tell anyone what happened. Not my mom, not my coworkers, not even my cousin Jake, who'd always been like a little brother to me. I went silent. I didn't block Mandy. I didn't text her either. I let her think I was crushed and gone. That's what she wanted, right? Space? Well, she had it. More than enough. But inside, I started building something else. I'm not a genius like Scott, but I'm not stupid. I knew his weak spots. I knew his habits. I knew how to hit where it would hurt the most. First thing I did was check if Mandy had moved any of her stuff from my house. She hadn't. That told me she was still trying to keep her options open. Like I was some backup plan in case things with Scott didn't work out. So I waited 2 more days, then texted her. Your stuff's still here. Come get it. She replied almost instantly. Can we talk? Nothing to talk about. I didn't plan this, Ray. I didn't mean for it to happen. Come get your stuff or I'll put it on the curb. She showed up the next evening. I stayed calm. Let her pack in silence.
She cried.
Told me she missed me. Said I didn't deserve any of it. You really didn't, she said, holding one of my old t-shirts. You were always so good to me. I didn't say a word. Just watched her. Then she said something that nearly made me laugh. I think I made a mistake. That's when I knew. Scott wasn't giving her what she wanted. Or maybe she realized she picked the wrong brother. But I wasn't going to be her backup. She left. I let her. Then I got to work. You see, Scott had this habit of acting like he was invincible. He had a big tech job, stock options, expensive toys, and a reputation for being the clean-cut, older brother who could do no wrong. What people didn't know is that Scott was sloppy, especially with his money. I started talking to people. Quietly. I knew a guy from high school, Ricky, who worked at a financial planning firm downtown. We weren't friends, but I helped him once with his truck. He owed me. I didn't ask him to do anything illegal. Just to tell me if my brother had done anything sketchy. What he told me made my blood run cold. Scott had borrowed money from a startup he was part of. Not much, but enough that it could ruin him if someone found out. He moved funds around to cover it up. Had it hidden in crypto accounts and shell transfers. If his partners or investors found out, he'd be toast. So I took screenshots. Quietly. Sent anonymous tips to his firm. I created a fake email and dropped every file I had on him, bit by bit, over the next few weeks. Not enough to trace back to me. Just enough to cause a full audit. At the same time, I sent a little tip to Mandy's vet clinic. Just a few photos, her and Scott kissing in public. During hours, she claimed she was working. With dates. I may have also included a recording, Tara helped with that, of Mandy saying she'd called in sick to spend the day in bed. Pet owners don't like it when they find out their vet tech lies and skips work. Especially when they're handling someone's old dog or dying cat. She was let go a week later. Scott? Things didn't hit right away, but I knew it was coming. I kept watching. He started missing calls. Canceling brunch with our mom. Looked tired in the one photo he posted to his Instagram. Then I heard from Jake. Did you hear about Scott? Something's going on at his firm. Rumor is he's under investigation. I just shrugged. A few days later, Mandy texted me again. Did you do something to Scott? Why would I? He's losing everything. Sounds like a problem. Then she called. I didn't answer. Then Tara texted me. She's spiraling, Ray. She doesn't know it was you, but she knows something's off. You might want to be careful. I didn't respond. I just kept watching. A week later, Scott finally showed up at my place. I was under the hood of a car, working late, when I saw him standing outside the garage. I wiped my hands and walked over. You gonna hit me again? He asked. No, I said. I already did that. He looked rough. Dark circles under his eyes. Hair messy. Not the clean-shaven corporate guy anymore. You ruined my life. I looked him in the eye. No, you did. He stepped closer. I loved her.
Cool.
Now you can love her while you explain to your partners why their money disappeared. His face went white. That was you. I just smirked. You think you're smart, he said. You think this makes you better than me? No, I said. I think it makes us even. He didn't say anything else. Just walked back to his car. But we weren't even.
Not yet.
Because there was still one thing left. About a week after Scott showed up at the garage, I started getting mail I didn't recognize. Junk at first, then strange letters. Credit card offers I hadn't applied for, one addressed to Raymond plus Mandy. That's when it hit me. She must have used my name on something without telling me. I started digging, checked my credit report, and there it was. 2 new accounts I never opened, both tied to my old address, our place, where Mandy used to live. One was a store credit card. The other was a payday loan. I called the lenders, asked for transaction histories. They were both maxed out. One had been used at a boutique store downtown. The other had a cash withdrawal a week after she left. I knew Mandy wasn't good with money, but I didn't know she'd use my name to open accounts. I confronted her. I called from a burner number. Mandy, it's me.
She paused.
Ray. I checked my credit. More silence. I know what you did. Ray, I didn't mean to. I just needed help. I was gonna pay it back. I swear. You signed my name. I know. I know it was wrong. Please don't press charges. Please. I hung up. I didn't tell her I already had an appointment with a lawyer.
Fraud.
Identity theft. Pretty clear cut. The lawyer said it wouldn't be hard to prove. But I didn't file yet. Not yet. I had something else in mind first. I waited. Meanwhile, Scott was unraveling. Word got around town that he was under internal investigation at work. His name started getting whispered in the circles he used to brag about being part of. He'd always been proud of being the responsible one in the family. Then one night, Jake texted me again. Dude, you see Mandy's Insta? I hadn't.
She'd blocked me.
But Jake still followed her. She'd posted a picture. A sad-looking selfie with a long caption about betrayal, feeling used, and karma. She was losing followers. People in the comments were asking what happened. Then she deleted the post a few hours later. Tara called me that night. She's blaming Scott now, she said. She thinks he's the reason her life is falling apart. I let that sit for a second. She used me, I said. She lied to me. And to him. She's a mess, Ray. I don't even talk to her anymore. But listen, there's more. What? She was pregnant. For like 2 months. Said she lost it. I froze. With Scott's kid? She told me it might have been yours. But she didn't want either of you to know. I couldn't breathe for a second. She didn't go to a doctor. She just handled it herself. I don't know if it was real. I don't even know if she was ever pregnant. It felt like a new kind of hit. Not just betrayal, but confusion, grief, rage. I didn't say anything else to Tara. Just thanked her and hung up. That night, I sat in the garage and stared at the walls. Everything I thought I knew about that woman, it was gone. And yet, She still had something of mine, my name, tied to that loan. I went back to the lawyer the next morning. Signed the paperwork. Let the courts handle the rest. But before that could even move forward, I got one more surprise. Scott's fiancée reached out to me. I didn't even know he had one. She was out of state. Lived in Portland. They'd been engaged for 6 months. Long distance. She was planning to move to Boise this summer. Her name was Rachel. She found me after she saw a photo tagged of Scott and Mandy. She followed the trail, asked around, and found my shop. She called and said, "I think I'm supposed to marry your brother, but something doesn't feel right." I told her everything.
Every damn thing.
She didn't cry. She just said, "Thank you for being honest." 2 days later, she showed up in Boise. Not to see him. To give Mandy a piece of her mind. She went to the condo. Waited in the parking lot. When Mandy came out, Rachel confronted her. Tara got video of it from a friend who lived in the building. "You knew he was engaged." Rachel screamed. Mandy tried to walk away. "You ruined 2 families," Rachel shouted after her. Scott came out seconds later. Tried to calm her down. Rachel slapped him. Then she got in her car and left. The video made it to one of those local gossip pages on Instagram. It blew up. Not viral, but enough that Scott's job couldn't keep the lid on his investigation anymore. And Mandy? She became that girl in town. The one nobody trusted. Nobody hired. Even the wine bar let her go.
But me?
I stayed quiet. Because there was still one last thing left to do. And this was going to make everything worth it. It all came to a head 3 months after that night. She opened the door in my sweatshirt. Scott lost his job. Quietly at first, then publicly. They put out a statement. Internal financial discrepancies. Company values transparency. He tried to save face, told everyone he was starting his own consulting firm. But his partners blacklisted him. His name was done in tech circles around here. No one trusted him anymore. He moved out of the condo. Couldn't afford the rent. Ended up crashing in a rental across from the freeway with a buddy who worked in construction. He looked 10 years older when I saw him again.
Thinner. Broke.
Bitter. Mandy? She kept trying to call me. Kept sending long texts about forgiveness. Said she wanted to make amends. That she finally understood what she lost. Claimed she was going to therapy. That she found God. That she was sorry. But it was all words. Empty. Just noise. And yet, there was still the matter of what she stole. That fraud case I filed? It was in full swing now. The payday lender showed up in court with paperwork. My lawyer had receipts, statements, even the security camera footage of her signing for the card at the boutique under my name. She didn't show up to the first hearing. Sent a statement instead. I was emotionally unstable. I didn't know what I was doing. I never meant harm. The judge didn't care. She was found liable. Owed the full amount, plus damages. A civil judgment hit her credit. Collections followed. She tried to fight it, but the proof was airtight. Her license got flagged too. Turns out, when you commit fraud tied to employment, some places can revoke your eligibility to work with animals. She tried to get a new vet tech job in another town. Got denied. I didn't press criminal charges. I could've. My lawyer told me we had enough. But I didn't want to ruin her life completely. No, I wanted her to live with it.
To carry it.
To feel the consequences every time she tried to rent an apartment or apply for a job or buy something bigger than groceries. I wanted her to keep explaining her mistakes to strangers for the rest of her life. And Scott? He tried to sue me. He claimed I defamed him. Said I planted the evidence about his embezzlement. Said I was obsessed and vindictive. My lawyer laughed. We went to mediation. I showed up in jeans and boots. He came in wearing a wrinkled shirt, looking like a man who hadn't slept in weeks. I want him to admit what he did, he told the mediator. Which part? I asked. Screwing my girlfriend? Or stealing from your own company? The mediator tried to calm us down. Scott looked me dead in the eyes. I was better than you. Always. And you couldn't take it. I leaned in. You were better at hiding it, I said. but I always knew what kind of person you were deep down. You just proved it to everyone else. The case went nowhere. Got thrown out. Waste of time. He lost money on lawyer fees he couldn't afford. I left that room free. He left it broken. The final piece? That was mine. Quiet. Personal. One night, around midnight, I drove up to that same overlook where I sat the night everything fell apart. I parked. Got out. I brought a box. Inside, every photo of me and Mandy. Every letter. Every note. The stuffed animals she won for me at the fair. The ticket stubs. All of it. I lit a fire in the old metal pit by the parking lot and watched it all burn. It didn't feel like revenge. It felt like release. I thought I'd feel empty, but I didn't. I felt clean.
Free.
In the end, Mandy lost her reputation, her job, and her future. Scott lost his career, his name, and the fiancé who actually loved him. And me? I learned the most painful lesson of my life. I learned that love without respect means nothing. I learned that family can lie with a straight face. I learned that silence and patience can destroy someone louder than any scream. But I also learned that I still had people who mattered. My cousin Jake stood by me. Tara came clean and helped me. Even my mom, after I finally told her, held my hand and said, "You did what you had to do, Ray." That meant more than any revenge. But make no mistake,
They broke me.
and I made sure they would never forget it. Because when you betray someone who would have taken a bullet for you, you better pray they never stop caring. Because once they don't, they're the most dangerous person you'll ever meet. Now that everything had settled, court done, reputations shattered, and the dust starting to clear, I thought that would be the end of it. But real endings don't come with closure. Not for people like me. A month after that night at the Overlook, I got an unexpected call from my mom. "Ray," she said, voice shaking. "Your brother, he's in the hospital." "What happened?" "Overdose," she whispered. "They said it wasn't fatal, but it was close." I didn't say anything for a second. She started crying. "I think he's lost. I think he really doesn't have anyone left." I went quiet. Because here's the part one hadn't told anyone, not even Jake. A week before that overdose, Scott had texted me. "I get it now. You win." I wish I could go back. I never replied. I just deleted it. Was that cruel? Maybe. But I wasn't ready to carry his guilt. He wasn't mine to save anymore. He made that choice the day he let Mandy into his bed. Still, I went to the hospital. I didn't walk in, though. I just stood in the parking lot for a while. Looked up at his window. Saw the lights were on. Then I turned around and left. I had nothing left to say to him. As for Mandy, she disappeared for a while. Deleted her social media. Tara said she heard she was living in Twin Falls with some older guy she met through a church group. She reached out to Tara a few times, tried to explain herself again. But Tara told her straight up. "You had someone who would have done anything for you. You set it on fire." Mandy left town shortly after that. The next time I saw her name was 6 months later, in a Craigslist ad. She was offering pet sitting services. No license. No references. Just her name, a short message, and a Gmail address. I didn't contact her. I just stared at the screen for a while. Then I closed it. And finally I moved on. Not to another woman. Not right away. But I started living again. I fixed up an old motorcycle that had been collecting dust in the garage. Took long rides through the hills. Started helping out at a local trade school, teaching kids how to work with engines. Real kids, the kind of rough, quiet ones who just needed someone to give a damn. And slowly I built something new. Not just a life, but a line. A hard line. A reminder. Never again will I ignore my gut. Never again will I let people cross me and stay standing. You burn me once, I'll remember forever. And if you bury the knife in my back, I'll wait, I'll smile, and I'll pull it out only when I'm ready, when it'll cut deepest. Because I may be slow to anger, but when I strike, you'll never forget it. Not for the rest of your life. And that was my real revenge. 6 months later, by the time the snow started to fall in Boise again, things were different. The garage was doing better than ever. I'd picked up 2 new contracts, one with a delivery company, the other with a local bus fleet. And I was working more than I slept. But I didn't mind it. Work kept my mind clean. I'd lost weight. Not from stress, that part was over. Just from moving more, eating less crap, and sleeping without someone next to me lying through their teeth. My house felt quieter now, but also safer. But even when it felt like everything was calm, there was one last twist waiting. It started with another email, anonymous, like the ones I used to send during the fallout. Subject line: "You don't know everything." No message body. Just an attachment. A video. I almost deleted it, but something about it got to me. So I downloaded it on an old laptop I kept around just in case. The video was security cam footage, shaky, low quality, black and white. It was dated 2 weeks before Mandy asked for space. The setting? My own garage. The angle showed the front desk. You could see me walk out of frame.
I remembered that day.
A regular Tuesday. I'd gone in the back to help with a stuck engine. Then you saw it, Mandy walking in. But she wasn't alone. She was with Scott. Not after she asked for space. Before. I sat there, watching, barely breathing. They talked to each other. She leaned in close. They looked around. She kissed him. Right there. In my damn place of work. In the one place I thought was mine, and mine alone. Then they both left. I closed the laptop. My hands were shaking. Everything she told me. About it just happening. About it starting after we broke up. About needing space. It was all a lie. The whole timeline was fake. They'd been doing this under my nose longer than I thought. And someone knew. Someone sent that to me on purpose.
Dada? Maybe.
Jake?
Possibly.
But in the end, it didn't matter. It confirmed one thing I'd already known deep down. There is no bottom to betrayal. No end to how low some people will sink to serve themselves. I didn't go after her again. Didn't reach out to Scott. Didn't send threats or post the footage online. That part of me was done. Instead, I made a copy of the video. Put it on a flash drive. Labeled it. In case I ever forget. Then I put it in a small metal lockbox, along with the court papers, the loan account closures, the screenshots from my credit report, and one photo, the last one ever taken of me and Mandy. She was smiling. I wasn't. I locked the box and put it on the highest shelf in the garage. Somewhere it would stay. Not because I wanted to hang on to hate, but because I needed to remember what people are capable of. People like Mandy. People like Scott. And sometimes people like me. Because here's the truth. I didn't come out of this clean. I changed. Before all this, I believed in fixing things. In talking it out. In giving second chances.
Now?
I believe in proof. I believe in paying attention. And I believe that once someone shows you who they really are, you don't forgive them. You outlast them. So that when they crash and burn, you're still standing, watching from a distance.
Calm.
Quiet. Unshaken. And that's where I'll stay. 1 year later, it was the anniversary. Not of the breakup. Not of the night Mandy opened the door in my sweatshirt. It was the anniversary of the night I woke up. A year since I found out who they really were. A year since I stopped being the guy who looked the other way when things felt wrong. That night, I closed the shop early. Drove out past the edge of town to the same old overlook. Cold wind, same quiet sky, same rusted bench. I sat down and looked out over Boise. Lights blinking in the distance. It looked peaceful from far away. But I knew better. I pulled out my phone, scrolled to a saved voicemail. One I'd never deleted. It was from Scott. Ray, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I messed everything up. I lost my job, my girl, my money. I don't even know who I am without all of that. I know I burned every bridge. I know I deserve it. But if you ever feel like you could talk to me again, I'd give anything for that. I never called him back. Because he wasn't sorry for what he did. He was sorry he lost. And Mandy? I heard through a mutual friend that she moved to Pocatello, started going by her middle name, got engaged to some guy who owns a used furniture store. She still has the judgment against her. Still can't apply for real credit. Still flagged in the pet care system. You can change your name, but you can't run from what you did forever. Sometimes I wonder if she tells him the truth. If she ever told anyone what really happened. But that's not my concern anymore. What matters is that I made it out. Changed, yeah. But still here. Still building. I started teaching full-time at the trade school. Helping the kids nobody else wants to deal with. Kids with court records. Kids with rage. Kids who don't trust anyone. I look them in the eye and tell them the truth. People will lie to you. People will cheat you. But if you stay sharp, stay solid, you can make it. I don't tell them my story. But I don't have to. They see it in my eyes. And sometimes, I still think about what might have happened if Tara never made that call. If Mandy had played it smarter. If Scott had been better at hiding it. I probably would have married her. Probably would have made him my best man. And I probably would have died thinking they both loved me. That's the scariest part.
But now?
Now I trust slow. I speak less. I watch more. And every time I think about what they did, every time I remember the pain, the shame, the humiliation, I smile. Because I know how it ended. They lost everything. And I didn't have to scream or beg or fight. I just waited. And I let the truth do the work.